Hello everybody, how's it going? Um, First, I think I'm going to play, but I'll just mention I haven't made a video in a while. I've had some medical difficulties the last few weeks. Some of you know I went through open heart surgery, a quadruple bypass, and that has failed. That procedure did not work. The bypasses failed, or at least three of them did. And another procedure was done, which is called stenting, and they put these little tiny stents in your arteries. And that second procedure did work, and so that helped my heart a little bit. But the main major procedure of a quadruple bypass failed. So I'm not quite sure how to proceed from this, but well, I think I'll just go ahead and talk about what I was going to talk about first, and then I'll play at the end. Um, because of what's happened to me, basically, my surgery wasn't successful, and I'm not sure how to proceed in the near future here. I've heard that they can redo bypass procedures, heart bypass. They can redo them, but that's very risky. The risk factor goes up ×3, but they can redo them. My surgeon said that they can also put another stent in at some point that may help down the road, but I'm not sure. I want to go under the knife again right now. So I'm in a bit of a quandary, but I just thought I'd make this video, and I haven't played in about 3 weeks, so my playing is not going to be all that great, but I just pulled up this app about what does the Bible say about medicine. This is an app that I've used for years, for quite a while, and it's called theopenbible.com, which is really good. Has all kinds of different subjects. And what does the Bible say about medicine? So I'm just going to read a few of those, and then I'll play something that I like to play at the end. But all this to say is that my heart procedure didn't work, and I've also learned some things about heart bypasses, that 50% of bypasses fail after 5 years. From 5 to 10 years, heart bypasses do fail. They close up, and I also learned from an article that 20 to 40% of bypasses fail within the first year of the bypass, which is pretty astonishing to me. I didn't know that before I had my procedure, but I just read that. I've been reading some articles that are giving me some information about how I might proceed now. So my heart is working okay right now. I still have some chest pain, but I'm getting stronger. I can breathe better. I can tell my breath is stronger and fuller. I still have a little bit of either water or blood in my left lung from the x-rays they took just 3 days ago. They said I still have some kind of fluid in my left lung, and I need to get that cleared up. But I wanted to make a video today just because I haven't made one in quite a while, and do a short little Bible study here about what does the Bible say about medicine. Okay, so, and I'm reading straight from this app called theopenbible.com, which is really handy. What does the Bible say about medicine? A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Proverbs 17, verse 22. No longer drink only water, but use a little wine for the sake of your stomach and your frequent ailments. 1 Timothy 5:23. Now that's an interesting one. That's from Paul, St. Paul, who was telling some believers that, who got saved, they came out of the world, maybe they drank too much before they were Christians, maybe they partied, and now they never drink wine anymore. Well, Paul is actually telling them, not only drink water, but use a little wine for the sake of your stomach and your frequent ailments. He's saying that wine is actually pretty good for you, which is pretty interesting. He's not saying get drunk, of course. He's not saying that at all. He's just saying that there may be some good healing qualities in wine, which is, I think, pretty interesting. Okay, Ezekiel 47, verse 12. And on the banks on both sides of the river, there will grow all kinds of trees for food. Their leaves will not wither, nor their fruit fail, but they will bear fresh fruit every month, because the water for them flows from the sanctuary. Their fruit will be for food, and their leaves for healing. Okay, so that's kind of saying that these trees that bore fruit every month at this time, back in the prophet Ezekiel's day, these trees bore fruit and the leaves were healing, because the water for the trees flows from the sanctuary. That's pretty interesting. Revelation 22, verse 2. Through the middle of the street of the city also, on either side of the river, the tree of life with its 12 kinds of fruit, yielding its fruit each month. The leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. That's really interesting. In Revelation, it's talking about the New Jerusalem. And let's read that again. Through the middle of the street of the city, also on either side of the river, the tree of life with its 12 kinds of fruit, yielding its fruit each month. The leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. So this water that comes from the sanctuary of God, and the trees that were close to it, bore healing. This fruit and the leaves were healing, are going to be healing in the 1,000-year reign of Christ. Matthew 9:12. But when he heard it, he said, those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick. Jesus was talking here, and he was telling people that basically he didn't come for the people that thought they were well, that thought they didn't need any healing, that thought they were spiritually all perfect, like the uber religious types. But those who are sick, Jesus came for the sick in body and the sick in spiritually sick. Isaiah 38, verse 21. Now Isaiah had said, let them take a cake of figs and apply it to the boil, that he may recover. So there's something else that apparently the prophet Isaiah, in his day, they said cakes of figs and apply it to the boil, like a boil on your foot or your hand or whatever, and it will recover. So there was healing plants and things in the Bible days, which is pretty fascinating. Jeremiah 8:22. Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Why then has the health of the daughter of my people not been restored? Jeremiah was called the weeping prophet, and for good reason, because he was always bringing bad news to the people of Israel and saying, your time is up. He was always weeping for his nation and for the people, because he knew that judgment was soon coming, because they had become wicked, which is really not unlike today, to be quite honest. We're pretty much in the same boat. Look at our country. I mean, we have wickedness right and left everywhere. They're teaching transgender, ideology to children in schools. Homosexual marriage has been codified into law. What is right is now called wrong. What is wrong is now called right. I mean, we're in similar days to the prophet Jeremiah. His nation had become wicked, and our nation has become wicked. And so Jeremiah was called the weeping prophet, because he was always crying for his nation because he knew their wickedness was going to bring destruction on the nation, which it did, by the way. Luke 10:34, he went to him and bound up his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Then he set him on his own animal and brought him to an inn and took care of him. Okay, so that story from Luke, that's about the Good Samaritan and how the Samaritan, who wasn't a Jew nor a Gentile, he wasn't Jew or Gentile, they were kind of, were looked upon badly by both sides, the Jews and the Gentiles. The Samaritans were sort of half-breeds, which, by the way, I am today, so I can kind of relate to them. Neither side liked the Samaritans too much, which I can relate to. He's telling the story of the Good Samaritan who was binding up the wounds and put oil and healed up oil and wine on his wounds and tried to heal up this guy who had been attacked and assaulted and beaten up and left for dead on a road by robbers, and how all the Pharisees and the uber super religious people just kind of walked by and just looked at him and like, oh, well, I don't have time to help this guy because I have to get to temple. Another guy walks by, well, I can't do that because, I have to run a business and I'm too busy. And here's this one guy that's ostracized by society, the Samaritan, the half-breed, which nobody likes in Jesus' culture, and he's the one in the story that's healing this guy and taking care of him, that's showing actual Christian qualities. I think that's really interesting. Job 5:18, for he wounds, but he binds up. He shatters, but his hands heal. That's talking about the Lord. The Lord heals, he wounds us. He can wound, for correction. But then he binds up, and we see this over and over again in the Bible. God judges his people, but then he brings restoration to them. We see that over and over again. Jeremiah 46:11, go up to Gilead and take balm, O virgin daughter of Egypt. In vain you have used many medicines. There is no healing for you. Once again, Jeremiah the prophet, the weeping prophet who is bringing bad news to his people and his society. There is no healing for you because you've become so wicked that there will be no healing. And Jeremiah's prophecies came true, by the way. James 5:15, and the prayer of faith will save the one who is sick, and the Lord will raise him up. And if he has committed sins, he will be forgiven. Of course, that's the New Testament in James, saying how the prayer of faith will save one who's sick. Now, I've been praying this whole time, and people have been praying for me on Facebook and friends and family and stuff, but I'm still not being healed, but I'm still functioning. So, Romans 12:2, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. Psalm 103, verse 3. Who forgives all your iniquity, who heals all your diseases. Okay, the psalmist David, I'm assuming David wrote this because he wrote most of them. God forgives all of our iniquities. He heals all your diseases. And I'm just going to go with that promise and just pray and petition the Lord that I'll be healed, whether I have another surgery or other procedures or not, that I can just go on with my life. Isaiah 1:6, from the sole of the foot even to the head there is no soundness in it. but bruises and sores and raw wounds. They are not pressed out or bound up or softened with oil. Colossians 4:14. Luke, the beloved physician, greets you, as does Demas. Luke, a direct disciple of Jesus Christ, was a physician. He was a doctor in his day. That's pretty interesting. Jeremiah 51, verse 8. Suddenly, Babylon has fallen and been broken. Wail for her, take balm for her pain. Perhaps she may be healed. I think that could be said of today, too. In a way, I look at our current society as almost like modern day Babylon, or even modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. And I'm still praying, even though I'm sick, even though I've just had open heart surgery just 6 weeks ago. I'm still praying for my nation, that she will repent and turn from her sin, and that perhaps we can take balm for our pain. Perhaps we may be healed before judgment happens. So, all right, one more here. Psalm 147, verse 3. He, meaning God, heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. The Lord heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Even though I've been sick the last 6, 7, 8 weeks, and even before that, before my surgery, I wasn't doing too well. And then afterwards, the first 2 weeks were just devastating. I mean, I was in a lot of pain, and then I had a second procedure, which put stents in, so I'm still recovering from that. And these things are painful, and they take time to recover. So anyway, I'll end up here with a song I like to play. Thanks for watching.